What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Stellar Lumens today, XLM USD. Hit that like button, you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it, my friends. It is the 13th day of August today, and here we are, 23 hours, 1 minute left in the day. Brand new day here. Had a very nice day yesterday. I wouldn't call it a bullish engulfing candle, but I kind of want to, I mean, it did close. You closed above the last 3 days of red closing prices, right? Literally not the highest close itself, right? But that day closed lower, that day closed lower, that day closed lower. Yesterday did close above the last 3 days of red, effectively nullifying all that bearish price action. So that's kind of nice to see. XRP did move up about 4.4% yesterday, so did you. So keeping on track with XRP, on par there. You still do have lower highs and lower lows. It's very possible that you could still consolidate in this range, but you've also got this look just like XRP, and you do kind of track XRP, just move at a little bit of a heavier pace. You've got this look of an inverse head and shoulders pattern here. It might break out and likely would take you to higher prices. If we're looking at this here from a low to a high, that measure move should take you to about 61 cents. We're at 44.6 cents now. So any day now, guys, if not sometime later this week, probably sometime next week, certainly by the end of the month, you'll be up at that area. And in case anybody's missed it, I very much do expect that Stellar Lumens will see prices inevitably by the end of September, by the end of this next move. Let's not throw a time frame on it because you guys know how pinpoint accurate I am with these time frames. That's a joke. It's not really, man. The time frames are the hardest part to get. The price action we can guess, but the time frame is really hard to guess. Anybody and everybody can say it's going to go to $1.78, but when is the real question, right? I think it'll get there by the end of September. $1.78 to $2.04, if not a little bit higher than that. I'm actually expecting personally prices above $2.20, yet below $2.50. That's my personal expectation for Stellar Lumens. In case anybody missed that, that's been the prediction for months now, man. At this point, let's look at this on the 1 hour time frame. Looking at this here, we do have lower highs, lower lows still. See, I think what we're looking for at this point in time is a higher low, right? Higher low with a higher high. So don't get too excited just on higher lows, right? You got this, you had a higher low here, but it didn't amount to much, right? Inevitably you had a lower low. Here you did get a higher high, but you still got a lower low. You need higher highs and higher lows, not just one or the other, right? So here we don't have higher highs. Yes, it's relative to this, but no, not to this. So what we need, I think what would be nice is an established higher low, so that when we do get above this high, we get above this high. There's no debating it. However you slice it, we've got a higher high and a higher low coming in. That would be nice to see. So I think Stellar Lumens, your goal right now, the thing that we should be looking to attain, to achieve, would be a higher low. So from a low here to a high point here, assuming this is the low at 42.7 cents, which it very well could be. It's completely possible and acceptable. Do not get your feelings hurt if we go lower. We're in a lower low, lower high trend. We're in a consolidation phase inside of a greater uptrend, higher low, higher high trend, right? So don't get your feelings hurt if we do see prices at 42 cents to 41 cents like I originally called for, predicted, like I want to say 2 days ago, if not yesterday. We had a little bit of a move up. I've been wrong before. I'll be wrong again. I've been right before. I'll be right again, right? It's not about that. It's about making money at the end of the day. And this here, does look like just another lower high. I wouldn't be surprised if we went lower to 42 to 41 cents, but if we're looking for a higher low, the area that it would likely go to would be something of about 43.8 to 43.6 cents here. I mean, at a minimum, 44.4 cents, and you're basically there now, but I would think that you do go something deeper down to the golden ratio here. You could go all the way to 43 cents and still put in this higher low. I don't care if you go below these lows. I just care if you go below this low. So as long as you're holding support there, understand wherever you find support, whether it's at 43.8, 43 cents itself, somewhere in that zone, you find support here. If you come back up to this area, you don't even have a higher high yet, you can effectively count on the higher low, higher high dynamic working out, right? Getting back above 44.5 cents, sorry, essentially 45 cents. Getting back above 45 cents is going to be very validating to the idea that wherever your low is the low. But you need to get back above 45 cents, okay? After you go down. Let's look at the indicators and see what we're coming up with here, okay? MACD crossed above the zero, nice, beautiful, but you've done this before. It's pretty unreliable, the 1 hour time frame, right? MACD especially when you're moving sideways like this. So I'm not really swayed by this too much. You moved up because of it, but it might not sustain. Stochastics coming down would suggest that you go lower. RSI rejecting the overbought zone. The last time that you did that, you actually saw a lower low. So could we see a lower low? If the answer is yes, we do, then expect 42 to 41 cents to hold as support, okay? Not 42 or 41. It could be, but between 42 and 41 cents, somewhere in that area. Yeah, I hope that makes sense. 4-hour time frame. Let's look at that here, okay? 4-hour time frame rejecting the same area. Now this is where things look a little bit more dicey, right? You've broken out of your uptrend. You had higher lows, you had higher highs, broken out of that, and now you've got a relative area of resistance that you found resistance at 3 times now. Insignificant little divot there. Pretty more significant pivots here. Kind of makes me think that you want to go to the oversold oversold zone. And if you were to go to the oversold zone, you would absolutely see lower lows. I'm getting a little bit less enthusiastic of this being the low. I suppose at this point in time, I am expecting 42 to 41 cents still. We're going to hold out for it, guys. I'm calling for it. 42 to 41 cents, I guess. That's what we're calling for. Not even, I guess. I'm growing more confident looking at the chart here. So while, yes, this was a nice little move up, nothing validating to the upside. In fact, you did have more volume come in on these past 2 4-hour candles. You even had a 4-hour candle close above here, and you went nowhere. That's a problem. That's a bit problematic, right? It's like here, whenever you, I mean, maybe that's not a good example, actually, because you did get more volume. You continued, but you just didn't have volume after that, so you reversed back. Let's see. What would be a good example? Like this one, but to the opposite effect. Here you're moving down. Right here you get a lower close, a lower low close, and you get some good volume coming in, but you didn't go anywhere. You didn't go anywhere. You just found it. You're stopping in the same area, so bullish repercussions. Inevitably you went lower. Here you're moving up. You got a higher 4-hour close, but you didn't go anywhere. You had the volume. You didn't go anywhere. So bearish repercussions. We can still go up afterwards, but just probably a lower low. 42 to 41 cents is the target, my friends. So I'm going to keep it there. I think that's where we're going. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor, just my thoughts there. Okay, and then inevitably we are looking for that target area of $1.50 at a bare minimum to $2.50, maybe even a little bit above there as a maximum target, but I'm expecting something above $2, above $2.20 personally. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here, and that should be by the end of September. Timing is the hardest part. Thank you all for being here. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.